I'm going live today because everybody's like, well, what'd you think? Well, first let me tell you, everybody has hit me up about this fight. So, as I watched the fight, I thought Billy Joe was doing pretty good, but I didn't think he was winning. A lot of people were saying, like, I think Chris Mannix had him up two rounds above Canelo, which I'm like, he had a pretty good 2 rounds before he got stopped. Yes. But it just, like, for me, I'm like,
Now, around here, we don't even bother with dumb stuff like that. We let the Axeman handle that. So, Axeman, do your job.
68-65 in favor of Billy Joe Saunders.
Now that we got that out of the way, back to what Claressa was saying.
He wasn't above. I thought it was very good competition. It's been a long time since I've seen anybody land a jab, a right hand, anything on Canelo. So to see somebody actually go on there with some gumption and want to fight, I was like, this is great. This is great. You purchase a badge by just clicking on here, and then it'll tell you. But just on that, I was just shocked to see him. He took some hard shots because Canelo, he's like a freaking truck. Okay, let's get that out of the way. He's like a freaking truck that I had just seen him just get hit with that uppercut. His eye, got messed up, and they just called it. And I was shocked to see that because I'm like, I knew Billy Joe was coming out the next round. I'm like, I can't wait till the next round to see what Billy Joe come out and do. Like, I thought that's when we was going to see that grit, to see how much he really wanted it. And to see he didn't come out, it was shocking to me. It was. It was. No, I've never fought a woman as strong as Canelo. I've fought some pretty skilled women in my lifetime, the Olympics and everything. But I don't think, like I said, I just gotta, it's something about me that's like, I can't go home and sleep at night knowing that I didn't give 100. And it seemed like to me, even though his eye was messed up, he still had one eye, and then he also has the interview where he was saying, Daniel Du Bois should have went down on his shield. He quit in the corner, and was throwing all kind of insults at him. And now, one thing I love about the UK people, shout out to y'all, the UK fans, y'all make so many excuses for y'all fighters. It's ridiculous. But I like how loyal y'all are, which, I hope I got some loyal fans in y'all too. But it's like, you can't bash Daniel Du Bois, but don't bash Billy Joe. That's it. You can't pick and choose who you bash. Y'all can keep on buying those badges because I'm really finna get deep with y'all in a second. But it's just like, with that, I'm like, I wasn't liking that. But let's just go a bit further. Do y'all know who Demetrius Andrade is? I'm just asking. Whoever knows who Demetrius Andrade is, go ahead and buy a badge. I'm just like, you buy a badge even though. But this is what I will say. Demetrius Andrade signed with Matchroom 2019-18-ish, right? Canelo had a few belts at 160. He could have been undisputed. Could have fought for the undisputed title against Demetrius Andrade for the last belt back in 2018-2019. But for some reason, Canelo went to 168.
Hold up. Now, Claressa, I love you now, but don't make me have to put the Axeman on you. I think you made that up. We're going to have to fact check that real quick. Let's see if what she said was true.
Eddie, do people realize that Demetrius Andrade could be the undisputed middleweight champion of the world?
They're sleeping on him.
He's
but
holding
I said to Andrade the other day, I said, Demetrius, you have no idea what a position you are in. You are the final piece of the undisputed puzzle. And he's like, so it looks like he'll fight Sulecki June 29 in Providence. We're going to give him a homecoming. And then after that, he wants it. He wants the undisputed fight. So, although Danny Jacobs and him are friends, that's going to be the undisputed fight that could happen.
Do you feel he will get the winner of that? If he's successful in June, will he get the winner of Jacobs Canelo?
Canelo's got a rematch clause, which I'm sure he might exercise. He's got Golovkin as well. But, next week, Danny Jacobs is going to hold the keys.
All right, now, for those that might be living under a rock, let me explain that out for you. Demetrius Andrade is promoted by Eddie Hearn. Now, at the time of that interview, Canelo Alvarez was not. Now, Canelo Alvarez was going into the Danny Jacobs fight, which, by the way, Eddie Hearn also promotes Danny Jacobs. So that's why he was saying Danny Jacobs and Demetrius Andrade could be fighting for undisputed, because he was speaking on the terms of him believing that Danny Jacobs was going to beat Canelo Alvarez, and Demetrius Andrade will win his fight against Saliso or whoever the guy he was fighting at the time. So that's why he was talking like that. Now, notice though, the key thing he said was undisputed. You would be fighting for undisputed, because Canelo did indeed beat Danny Jacobs and became the WBA super champion, and he had already had the IBF title, and he had already had the WBC title. So if I remember correctly, that's why he was saying if all he had to do was fight Demetrius Andrade, that's why he was saying Demetrius Andrade was in such a good position. But Eddie Hearn's, he could be your best friend, he could be your worst nightmare, and that's even if he's promoting you. Ask Dillian White. See, a lot of people wanted to blame the whole Dillian White not getting a title shot on Deontay Wilder and Al Heyman and PBC, etc., etc. But really, his issue, first of all, Dillian White could have got a title shot from AJ. He was AJ's mandatory at one point as well. With the WBO, and he had the opportunity to become his mandatory with the IBF, but he chose not to fight Pulev for that honor. And why did he do that? Because he was being led astray by Eddie Hearn. All Eddie Hearn wanted him to do was fight Deontay Wilder. He had no intentions on putting him in the ring with AJ unless he had that WBC title, which would have led AJ to undisputed. So once you hit, notice Eddie Hearn ain't even pushing AJ the way he used to. Why? Because Nay has Canelo in his pocket. So it's all about who that top dog is, and I get it, because the same way he was showing AJ favoritism, Nay's doing it with Canelo. Fortunately for AJ though, Canelo ain't no heavyweight, but he has spoken about moving up to heavyweight. I don't see it happen if he fight AJ though, but he has talked about it. But anyway, I just wanted to clear that up. Yes, Claressa was being honest. Yes, she was telling the truth. Demetrius Andrade was to have fought with Canelo Alvarez for undisputed at 160, and he chose not to.
Few belts at 160, he could have been undisputed. Could have fought for the undisputed title against Demetrius Andrade for the last belt back in 2018, 2019. But for some reason, Canelo went to 168. And then 175, right? And I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, dang, Canelo just hopping around. But I cannot believe. Go ahead and buy your badge, because I'm about to get you. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe that Canelo said that Demetrius Andrade was a horrible fighter. Got the game fucked up. Completely. Out of line. Demetrius Andrade is not no terrible fighter. He's an American Olympian. Okay? He had to fight to get out of his contract with Roc Nation. This dude has fought some awkward, tall, strong fighters ever since he's been with Matchroom. And he's come out on top. Now, age is a factor with everybody. But he has always called out Canelo. And this not nice Canelo, because to me, he is a king, okay? He is a king. That dude got so much power. But for anybody on here saying that Demetrius Andrade is a bum, You don't fucking know boxing. You don't know boxing. No. Demetrius Andrade is not a bad fighter. He's not trash. Y'all are uninformed. I've been seeing it's a video floating around that's showing like a little he was throwing some wild punches against a fighter he was fighting against, this big tall guy I remember. And people talking about this the guy you're talking about, this the guy you're talking about. And it's like, ain't nobody doubting Canelo, but it's fighters out there who will actually fight him and give him a good money. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Demetrius Andrade is slicker than Billy Joe Saunders. Demetrius Andrade is stronger than Billy Joe Saunders. And if Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andrade would have fought, Demetrius Andrade would have won. He would have won. Yeah. So, stop the bullshit. Canelo is not overrated. Listen, he's a hell of a fighter. No, he is not overrated. He's a hell of a fighter. But for anybody to say that he don't pick his opponents wisely and that he skipped the undisputed championship at 160 to go fight at 168, that's not okay. And, you know, Eddie Hearn is Demetrius Andrade's promoter. Why he gonna sit up there and just kind of sit there as Canelo say Demetrius Andrade is a horrible fighter? Well, guess what? This is what I got to say. If Demetrius Andrade is such a horrible fighter, Canelo, fight him. Shut him up.